everybody. My name is Dorota Kostowska. I'm from Poland, based in Warsaw, and I'm one of you. And who are we? We are visual practitioners, I guess. So just few hints about how it all started, because I think it's important. So as you know, there is a crawling meeting named Powwow, and this is a European community of visual practitioners who would like to create the real community. And one of the meetings happened in Warsaw, and I met Marco in Warsaw for the first time. And of course we met other practitioners, and one of the ideas was to organize regular online meetings just to know each other, to share some knowledge and experiences, and because we believe that this is one of the ways that will help to feel that we are community, because you know it's not enough to see ourselves on Facebook. It is really good to talk, to share, and to ask questions and look for answers. So this is why we decided to organize these online meetings, and this is the very first one. So we choose the subject tips and tricks because we thought that it will give us a good starting point, because everybody has some tricks, and what I would like to encourage you to is to share, because we will introduce few questions that came to our minds, and please share with us your answers. And of course, you can add your own question to the list. So we all here are experts, practitioners, so this is what we would like to do here today. And of course, it's our trial meeting, so we don't know how it's gonna be, but Marco is here to also facilitate the meeting from technical point of view, so I hope it's gonna work fine. Marco, what would you like to add?
Yeah, so also from my side, yeah, very welcome. And I will use here the chat so that we have two channels, talking and also chatting, because the more people we are, the more crowded it can be. So we have to chat always, that that everyone can post his questions and be part of the discussion.
One of the very basic, I think, stuff that we had to deal with is, what do you do if you have empty space left during your GR? Let's say that you prepared a big whiteboard and then you just covered half of it. What about the space that is left? Any tips, any tricks from you? Okay, Gabriela is saying in the chat that she's traveling in train, so she can only chat with us. All right. Okay, and Mirel as well. Okay, so please, if you have any ideas, just share on chat. Who would like to share using voice option?
Yeah, while you're just thinking, I could start with my first sense, because I sometimes have the situation, and yeah, it's always good just at the beginning, I think, of a key visual. And so last week I was at Porsche and I just trained to draw this Porsche 911. And
oh, wow.
I had a space left in a corner, and I just drew it there, and it was a nice fitting thing, and they loved it because it was identification. So I try to learn something that has a meaning for the customer, so not random, but something that's their product or their values, and then put it there in huge, so in big, and then it's theirs too. yeah, something I love
Cool.
at the end.
So you learned the icon, to draw the icon of Porsche,
Yes,
right?
the silhouette, silhouette. I think that's in English. So just how it's formed, the basic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's not that hard. And if you try it several times, they will recognize. Okay, it's our
Yeah, cool.
product.
Today, when I was thinking about this question, this answer you shared came to my mind too. That to have the key visual prepared in case it's needed, in case you can use a lot of space to draw it, then it's really cool. Another thing that I am doing sometimes when it's, for example, a debate, or when few people are, I'm graphic recording few people, the conversation, and the space is left, I'm asking them to come and sign. So they use this empty space and encourage them to sign, you know, to use a bigger font, let's say. And you can also do some kind of containers around this this sign. So this is another idea.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. And also comes something in from Mireille. I hope it's right, the pronunciation. And she mentioned that she just adding a typical quote, something that has a meaning in the white space, which I find also very interesting, and gives also some identity.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's also, thank you, Mirel. It's what about if this quote is already used in graphic recording? Sometimes you can emphasize it as emphasize a little more by repeating this by using bigger bigger letters. I can see that Hank wrote that he hided camera, but your camera is on.
I restarted.
Hank, would you like to share something about this problem of visual practitioners?
Yeah, for me it's not a problem because I work digitally. And what I do is just blow a part up to make it bigger.
Oh yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, just zoom in on something which is most important or appropriate. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Now it came to my mind that I did it once, that I simply cut the paper, so it was smaller.
Yeah.
So it's almost like working digitally.
Cutting, that's good. Yeah.
Cutting option. Okay. Dorota is writing on chat that she usually use clustering technique. Between clusters. Okay. So pan pasteling and adding any pattern. This is cool.
Yeah. I think the result looks very nice then. That's
to cover it with some kind of pattern. Cool. Okay.
Usually do. I'm talking with presenter before graphic recording, and I'm asking him about the most important messages he really wants to make them visible. So I have a kind of feeling that I know how many portions of information, so I can manage the space somehow, dividing it into some spaces, and I'm clustered information around. This helps you to you know, the spaces between those portions are sometimes wider or more narrower, but you can manage with borders with some pattern or pan pastel afterwards.
Okay.
Cool.
have different techniques then to, fill it up.
Okay, so it is also, I guess, Dorota, the planning before we start, let us get rid of this problem of empty space. But
If it is possible.
Yeah, if it's possible. I love to plan. I love to think before I start how I'm gonna use the space. But to be honest, sometimes
It's not
people
possible.
it's just not possible. It happened to me last week that the lady, she just used 5 minutes out of 15 she got, and I was prepared. I prepared a space for 15 minutes and she just said few words and it was it.
Yeah.
So I was so surprised that, this couldn't been planned.
Yeah. Or we could sell the space maybe for advertising. So McDonald's logos, Coca-Cola.
Or Marco, or our own logo.
Yeah, absolutely. So fill it. So a friend of mine, she is adding monsters. If there's no content coming from the speaker, the monsters will come there. So a way of doing it.
But this is a great one because it means that you can have your own, let's say, visuals that are connected to you personally. So it's not connected with your client, but it's like, your sign, let's say.
Yeah, that could, or say, so just say some go visual or next meeting with me, something like that. Yeah, that's indeed, it is really a problem. Sometimes you have this meeting, especially if it's not a well-prepared presentation, if it's more facilitation and there's really no content, and if you're not facilitator, you're just passive, then it's hard to get something out of the people if you can't.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing that is coming to my mind is maybe in some situations we can just encourage participants to come and add something. It's tricky, but in some situation it can work.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other cartoons? We should collect some for this purpose.
Yeah, there was. I think that's pretty cool from Mireille to say, okay, some little cartoon. If you just have something like a standard library and then add this kind of things, to make people laugh, because sometimes they also feel intimidate. I think if nothing is on the wall. So yeah, cartoons. I think it's also a nice idea from Mireille.
Okay, so guys, what you're taking from this bunch of ideas? Which one is the one that you want to use? I want to use monster idea.
and Hank can make them big then at the end. So the big monsters, digital.
The less content, the bigger the monster.
Yeah. It's a warning at the beginning. If you see monsters, you are out of scope.
Cool. Okay, are we ready for another question that we prepared? So, what do you do if you want to remember ideas to draw it later?
That's a good one.
I have a quick note.
Could you repeat it? It was just.
I'm making kind of sidekick note. I have a note pad to note it.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a post-it, or how do you do it?
Yeah. I just have a paper pad.
Okay.
So fast notes on the side, right, Dorota?
Yeah, on the side, yes, clear.
As Jakub wrote as well on chat, he's doing the same. All right.
No, that's.
I got one, but I'm waiting for yours.
Or digitally, it's easy. Then I just write it down, and later on I delete it.
But when you do it digitally, you also do notes digitally?
Yeah, just put it in on screen, and later on I delete my note.
All right. Okay.
So
Okay.
just comment or some anchor.
Okay. That's interesting because when I'm doing it digitally, I'm doing notes on paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I switch on the pencil, so I use concepts.
Okay.
And they have this auto layering, and the pencil I can just get rid of this layer later on, and then it's gone.
Then it's easy. Okay. So you want mix the layers, and you won't be trouble. You will not have troubles with layering. Let's say.
Yeah, and I don't have to care. So I just take the pencil. Also, when the space planning, sometimes I don't know where to put the big headline, and I just make a big stroke with a pencil, and as a kind of orientation later on, if you zoom in, and then I can later on easily get rid of this pencil layer.
All right. Now I see that Mirel she wrote that she used Post-its and put Post-it on the blank spot where it has to come. And this is my trick as well. Especially what I really like about Post-its is that I can put this idea in the place that I would like it to be later on. So it also is a part of planning of the space. So it really helps. What about Hank?
No suggestions. No, I guess what I have not really graphic recording experience at the moment. So it's more sketchnoting, and then it does not matter how you put it. And for example, last week I did a session, and then I made a, how do you say it, visual notes. So the original looked like, I don't know if you can see it, like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after I did the rework, and then it looked like.
All right. Okay.
But it's yeah, on the fly. Yeah, I just make a note and then.
Okay. Was it seen by people, or it was only
No,
you?
it was sketchnote, so that's why it does not matter.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think when we work digitally, and when we are doing graphic recording digitally, it can also be this, we can also use your tip to work on this afterwards, right?
Yeah.
To make it, let's say, more beautiful.
Yeah, and Marco's suggestion is good as well, because if you just put one word and you have time afterwards, you can work it out.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, I need a bit of space for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming back to paper, I remember when I used to work without Post-it notes, I was doing just simple and fast notes on paper with pencil, so then I could just rub it out. So
yeah, so it's also the pencil then.
But it was quite exhausting, you know, to wrap too many things was, you know, I didn't like it. So Post-its are much better. Okay.
I think also the Post-its look very innovative. So from design thinking, so it looks look very dynamic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really agile working.
I know that it's not the question that we asked, but it refers very much. So I will share also, because lately when I was working in a duo, in a team, we were helping each other by using post-its, because I was writing some kind of quotes for my colleague, and she could easily she had time to write it down nicely, because it was already noted. So, and she also did it for me, so it was really cool, because then you don't have to be so fast in graphic recording, because you have a helping hand from your colleague.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah. All right. So where it is? Oh, this one is another good one. So what do you do if you want to make your audience to understand better your role as a graphic recorder? Let's stick to graphic recording, all right? So
I can start sharing a story to warm up, because I had a strange experience when I did some of the first recordings, and there was no announcement at all, and the topic was completely new somehow. And so I was there and did my stuff, and in the end it was not clear for them what it's all about. And then I just started giving the people some text, the moderator, to announce it. And it helps so much to say, okay, look there, this is a graphic recording, and helps for that. And they are very thankful if they get a bit text, and they are very open if you tell them, okay, send the people in the break to the wall and they can talk. And so it's good for networking, and always the people organizing such a conference or something, they're seeking for ways that people network, because if they don't do, then the conference is not good at all. So they love it, if you give them some hint, okay, go there, network, and drink coffee and talk over the picture. So it's good, and that's how I get them also to do my introduction, what I want them to say.
Yeah, sure. It's cool. I agree that it helps very much to the people who lead the whole conference if we give them idea how to talk about our role, because they would love to say a few words, but sometimes they just don't know how to say it.
Absolutely.
I remember my first graphic recording. I was introduced as a cartoonist.
Oh.
And I couldn't do nothing with that, because I was introduced like that. So after that, I started talking with people before the whole event starts, just giving them few hints. I see that Martin is sharing that that to make sure that I'm introduced the proper way at the beginning of the meeting, so people wouldn't think what that person is doing, and tell them they will have the pictures after the meeting. So I can see two things here, that introducing me as a person and my role in the meeting, and also giving people the idea that they will have the photos and pictures. It keeps them, thinking, okay, so I don't have to hurry up and do all the pictures, because they will send it to me. But at the same time, I think that something that Marco said, to encourage people to come and take pictures, is so cool, because you encourage them, so they will not feel like it's forbidden, right? Marco, do you agree?
Absolutely. I just checked the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, to set them, invite them. But if I understood, I think it was Martin. Right. It's also to tell them a bit about the result, what they get out of it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
As I can see, Dorota is writing that she organizes the clear intro content. So is it written, Dorota? Can you figure out?
If it's possible, I'm giving them written in advance, but sometimes it's not possible. So I tend to agree with them. I will introduce my role by myself.
That is another cool idea. Yeah, to
at the beginning of the meeting, just to have clear understanding of the role and not being misunderstood, mistreated as a illustrator or someone like that.
Yeah.
What do you say when you introduce yourself, Dorota?
Yeah, it depends on the purpose of the meeting, because there are different purposes. If this is during conference, a very short intro that I would translate into visual language all the most important things in order to give you, in order to help you to gather the glimpses from something like that. But if this is graphic recording during workshop, which is much different, I'm usually working with the picture which helps those people with pictures which help those people to work on the problem, to solve, in order to solve the problem. So we talk for a while about my role very clearly.
All right.
And we are talking about the whole process. So the whole process is already discussed, it's illustrated, and my role is introduced on this visual map of the process.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorota.
Thanks.
So, Marco,
Yeah, I saw from Hank this comment. Yeah, he asked if it's common that the GR is introduced. At least from Germany, I know it is not common, but to make good business, it is good to be introduced, because it's a very good channel that people in the audience will remember you and the role, and so for your own interest, it's very, very good, and also to value it a bit. And also from Martine, there was a comment, okay, she's saying for her the result counts, which I agree to. It's just so at least for me, I feel more valued if I'm not in the corner somewhere. I had this experience really in the corner, not in front. Or when you work digital, it's even sometimes more difficult because you really depend on the screen. And I had great meetings where you have this huge screen and it's fantastic. And then there was one speaker, I had a situation, he wanted to have the screen for himself because he decided to have some presentation, PowerPoint. And I say, no, shit, what we do now? And they say, yeah, you can do it for yourself, like a sketch note. I say, no, I don't, that's a bit expensive for you to have a sketch note at the end, because it's the process that people can discuss and use it. And then they came with a kind of TV screen, which was also, like you have at home. And it was already a huge conference with the Beamer presentation there on the huge screen. And I had my small home TV, Philips, whatever. And so it was, and at the end.
So it only shows that we have to deal with all kinds of situations in our work.
And so I think it's important to have a good announce so that they value it, and also for because it's the best way when other people sit there and they see and they know what you're doing and who you are, and then they book you, and it's so easy, and you get easily, some people out of the round that come to you.
Yeah. What you maybe can do as well is, I just thought it over, is make a drawing up front, where you introduce the speaker, and then make a small note from yourself. I'm recording this session, and
that's nice. Yeah, that's also nice. Never thought about that. Yeah.
Because Hank, what I'm doing sometimes when the event is all, like in few seconds it's gonna start, but and my iPad is the screen is mine, so I'm writing hi,
Cool.
hello everybody, and people like it. It's just to create a smile. It's better than to leave empty space, right?
Yeah. You do a drawing. When is it starting and so on. Yeah.
I would also I would like to share with you one tip that I'm using sometimes. If I have an occasion to introduce myself, and I'm using a metaphor, because I love to work with metaphors anyway. So I'm saying, people, you see this huge blank paper in front of you, or you see the blank screen in front of you, and this blank page, it belongs to you. So you are the painters here, and I'm your tool. So I'm gonna listen very carefully what you're talking about, and I'm gonna paint your picture, a picture of your meeting.
Yeah.
And I used that metaphor when I was doing GR during workshop, when it's a very good metaphor, because many voices were in the room. So people really like it, and even they told me afterwards they love it.
Yeah, that's a really nice introduction. That they understand your role and also value it.
That it belongs to them, right? That I will not add my own ideas there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And Jakub wrote that he was introduced. He was called the graphic dude. Okay, so it is like your nickname almost. All right. So the time goes very fast with you. I will share another question. Let me prepare it for you. This is a tricky one.
Okay, so I start?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I do it all the time, because when I do the sales stuff and we discuss and I facilitate this kind of meetings, and for me, it is always to keep them busy in a thinking process. As facilitator, you ask questions, and often they come usually with this typical things like, what do you want to achieve? Success. And okay, you can draw success with some nice icons, but to make a really good picture, ask what means success for you? When do you know when you have it? So really go deep and bring them in thinking mode, and it brings me so much time. Just when they are going in the inner dialogue, then I have all the time, because they tell me their story, and so it's really powerful. And you can also do it with the group. So ask them, and they discuss, and once they are not just bringing you all the short words but really stories, then it's nice. That helps me a lot.
Yeah. What about you guys? Any situation like that? Dorota says that she cannot talk and draw simultaneously.
Sorry, I'm old-fashioned.
All right, so I don't really think it's really simultaneously. It's more like Marco said, I guess, that it's like,
I can draw a bit, then stop drawing, talk. I can point some important places of drawing, but I draw and talk the same time. It's not possible. My body does not allow me.
Yeah.
All right. What I do is, if it's possible, I'm preparing a kind of templates.
Mm-hmm.
So then I can just fill these templates with my own, you know, things that I would like to be there, or with something that group is talking about. So this is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And another is that I'm trying to be as simple in drawings as it's possible. So for example, the coloring stuff I'm doing afterwards, or if I have time. I'm using, you know, just black marker and one color to operate fast, and then I can add some more colors when I have time. So these are two things that comes to my mind.
That brings me to a good thing. So when I use the drawings, but at the end I add shadows, and adding shadows is like being, I don't have to think. I know, okay, where's the orientation, and I can talk and add shadows. Yeah.
That's true.
And that's sometimes a good way to complete the picture a bit and talk a bit and give them a good feeling.
There is another thing that I'm doing, because I think when you're working with flip chart and talking to people and drawing at the same time, it just, you know, your head is like trying to be everywhere, but it's impossible. But I really don't like to be, you know, to be this, you know, how to say that?
You
know
want to
what I
put
mean?
your face to the crowd.
Yeah. So I'm changing the position of flip chart a little bit so I can see people and draw, and then I'm changing it once again so they can see the whole picture. You know what I mean? Like working with space and how I'm standing, how I'm looking at people, and what they see on flip chart. So yeah. Afke Frederick. When giving workshops, and I try to be silent when I'm drawing, and I think people don't mind having some rest and sit back. Wow.
Also a good way of seeing it.
Yeah, it's a golden rule to be silent sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Frederick, for sharing that.
There it is. There's the question.
What to do if the meeting, the presentations are badly prepared? What to draw?
Yeah.
This is so good question. So, any answers?
Okay.
I'm almost, you know, I'm crying and laughing at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should save lives.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I remember one day I had such situation, so I started to draw in blank spots and draw flowers just make the audience somehow happy and
yeah.
I can only keep smiling, I'm afraid.
I could also think of a mind map thing, like you get maybe some words, something which is not out of content, but put it on the screen, do connections and add icons to it, and then it's at least a nice picture, maybe without meaning. but it fills up with words and and anchors and so like a word cloud in the internet.
Yeah, I would use a metaphor of fruit salad that, you know, just something here, something there, and something here, and maybe adding some containers, and you know, just
the soups. I don't know if you have them also in Germany. They have this letter soup where you have noodles in the shape of letters and they swim around there.
Something like this.
Chapel. I can't understand. Jakub. Sistine Chapel.
Okay.
Maybe create another Sistine Chapel.
What do you mean by that? I can guess, Jakub, but create art.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, at least it may look nicely.
Yeah. You can add some nice color.
Yeah.
You always can add some nice color.
Test your markers.
Yeah, it happened to me once that every presenter had 15 minutes and they used it very well. And the last presenter, she came, she said one sentence and she left. But afterwards, she came to me and she asked if I can make such a nice drawings like for others. And I said, okay. And I just, you know, I wrote this sentence because anyway, I did it. And I created a huge heart around it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. And it showed that it was the most important thing that she said.
Yeah.
And she was happy. Okay. Martin. During the break and see what can be. Of course. So we as a graphic recorders can suggest sometimes that we see a potential, but we need to find it finally.
Will also sometimes help, at least if it's not a big conference, if it's more kind of a meeting thing, when you have some patterns in mind. For example, if a business group and they do something and they do not come to a kind of conclusion what to draw, then having some models like SWOT analysis or what kind of business model canvas thing, so that they at least have a shape where they could think, okay, maybe we fill this known pattern, and then you can help them out with something like that. Or just before after view, something like that, and put that on paper.
So I guess Jakub, it's almost the question of what do we do if we have empty space left? It's almost this. I think that our answers are almost the same like during this conversation, right? Okay, guys, I think that we are done. How you feel about this kind of meeting?